Do you know how the humble potato became a symbol of survival, power, and destiny? You might be slumping in your seat right now, staring at your plate of French fries, forgetting that this very same vegetable once held the power to foster revolutions and shape nations. But what if I told you that a single potato, yes, a potato, helped lay the foundation of one of the world's most powerful nations? Sit tight, because this story will blow your mind. Welcome to Chronicles of Human History, where we transform remarkable anecdotes into epic tales. This story is about how one simple spud shaped the destiny of an empire, the story of the Great Potato Experiment of Prussia. Our journey begins in 18th century Europe, back when famine wasn't just an unfortunate hiccup. It was a persistent and fearsome specter haunting the lands. The potato, a crop native to South America, had recently traveled to Europe via Spanish explorers, but it was met with suspicion and even hostility by the local populations. Why? Because potatoes grew underground. Anything that came from beneath the soil was considered either the devil's food or something inherently poisonous. A weird superstition, don't you think? Yet, this tiny, unassuming tuber, cast aside by most Europeans, caught the sharp eye of one man, Frederick the Great of Prussia. King Frederick II, known as the Old Fritz, wasn't your average monarch. With his powdered white wig and piercing blue eyes, he was as famous for his military tactics as he was for his eccentricities. His kingdom was burgeoning, but riddled with economic and food insecurities due to frequent wars, failed harvests, and the unpredictability of Europe's cold climate. Bread, the staple food, was not enough to feed his people during harsh winters. Seeing this, Frederick became an unlikely champion of the potato. But here's the problem. How do you convince an entire population to grow and eat something they fear, something they think might be cursed? And yes, people thought potatoes could make you sick. Some believed they caused leprosy. Others assumed potatoes were a sad excuse for food fit only for livestock. Even though scientists began highlighting nutrition benefits, the average person shrugged it off. Frederick was up against not just hunger, but centuries of deep-seated fear and superstition. So Frederick did something unprecedented. Instead of issuing decrees or punishing his citizens into potato adoption, he devised a psychological masterpiece. Here's how it went down. Frederick ordered a royal potato field to be planted near the royal palace. But this wasn't just any potato field. This field came with round-the-clock royal guards. You're probably thinking, why guards? Well, here's the genius part. The royal guards were instructed to appear like they were protecting something immensely valuable, and deliberately take a casual yet visible stance. This whispered to the Prussian people, if the king's guards are protecting it, this must be something precious. Frederick let curiosity brew. And that's how the Great Potato Experiment began to morph into one of history's cleverest PR stunts. Soon, citizens, particularly the hungry peasants, grew intrigued. Why should only royalty grow and eat these golden nuggets from underground? Driven by envy, curiosity, and perhaps hunger, many began sneaking into the so-called protected guards' fields during the nights and stealing potato crops. Yes, stealing. And you know what Frederick II did? Absolutely nothing. It was all part of his plan. The tactic was brilliantly designed to awaken the people's interest. Instead of forcing the potato into his people's lives, Frederick transformed it into a symbol of luxury, exclusivity, and mystique. Within a few months, potatoes were not just being stolen, they were being secretly cultivated by farmers in their own fields. Suddenly, potatoes weren't the devil's food. They were the king's treasure. Pretty soon, the potato not only landed on their plates but became deeply rooted in Prussian agriculture. You might be wondering, did it all work? Was the potato the silver bullet Frederick hoped it would be? The answer? Absolutely, yes. Unlike crops such as wheat or barley, which were vulnerable to bad weather, the potato was durable. It became a state-supported staple food that brought some stability to Prussia's famine cycles. It also provided dense nutrition, helping the population thrive in difficult climates. But the Great Potato Experiment wasn't just about feeding the hungry. It was about resilience against existential threats. This successful adoption of potatoes fortified the growth of Frederick's kingdom, laying a stronger foundation for what would later become modern-day Germany. It created loyalty among his subjects and portrayed Frederick as a visionary leader who cared not only about winning wars, but also feeding his people. In the long run, the potato played a part, albeit indirectly, in Germany's rise to prominence in subsequent centuries. Unbelievable, right? A single vegetable, a simple, unlikely tuber. It went from being sneered at as poisonous garbage to being kidnapped from the royal fields as a prized possession. From courtrooms to farmlands, this clever tactic, Frederick's amusing and surprisingly effective strategy, shows us that sometimes the solutions to humanity's most pressing problems aren't flashy or revolutionary. Often, they are simple, accessible, and right under our noses, or, in this case, feet. As you reflect on this, it's worth asking, what are the modern equivalents of underestimated potatoes today? Are there ideas, technologies, or resources hiding in plain sight, waiting to reshape the future of our world in a similar way? That's all for today's escapade into the chronicles of human history. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And next time you munch on a bag of potato chips or serve up mashed potatoes at dinner, remember, you're biting into a legacy steeped in both mystery and brilliance. See you in the next episode, where we'll unravel yet another fascinating twist in the grand adventure of history. Thank you for watching.